Hi, everyone. Welcome to 7 Steps to Create a Marketing Plan that gets you new customers, more visibility, and peace of mind. We've still got a lot of people getting settled in here, and we're going to go ahead and let them do that. And then we'll get started with the presentation in just a few minutes. So now's a great time if you need to run to the restroom or get a drink of water or maybe finish up that last minute email. Perfect time to do it. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Thanks again. Hi, everyone. Welcome again to 7 Steps to Create a Marketing Plan that gets you new customers, more visibility, and peace of mind. We're going to get started in just another minute. We've still got a few people settling in. So now's a great time if you want to get a drink of water or finish up a last second email or conversation. It's a great time to do it, and we'll be back to get rolling in just 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, everyone, let's get going. Thank you very much for joining me here today. Today's presentation is 7 Steps to Create a Marketing Plan that gets you new customers, more visibility, and peace of mind. Marketing plan has been something that's been a huge benefit for our organization and many of the clients that we've worked with. So if a marketing plan is new to you, I think you're going to get a ton out of this presentation. So just a few logistics here before we get going. One, I will be recording this presentation. So if there's anything that you want to go through and review, no problem. I'll get that recording out to you here in 24 or 48 hours after this presentation so you can go through it again. In terms of questions, please type your questions into the question box below this presentation. I will respond to as many questions as I can at the end of the presentation. And anything that I'm unable to answer or we run out of time on for any reason, I will get back to you shortly, or somebody from my team will get back to you personally to make sure we try and address your question. Okay? Let's see here. Finally, if you hover over the image of this presentation with your mouse, you'll see a little box that will pop up on the lower right-hand side of the actual presentation. You can click on that, and it will expand this presentation into full screen mode for you, which can be an easier way to view it. So if you want to do that, just hover over it with your mouse, click on that little box, you'll go to full screen, and then to get out of full screen mode, you can just hit the escape key at any time so you can get back to that question box if you'd like. Okay? So thank you very much again, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get rolling. All right, so the agenda, we're going to cover, number one, the undeniable benefits of having a marketing plan. Number two, how to create a marketing plan step by step. It's not hard, I promise. And number 3 here, best practices, worst practices, and other important things to consider as you create your marketing plan and roll out your marketing plan at your business. All right, so let's start with Act 1, the undeniable benefits of a marketing plan. When I think about businesses that are operating without a marketing plan, I think of this quote from Lewis Carroll: "If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there." That's absolutely the case, right? If you don't have a marketing plan for your business, then it may just kind of seem that whatever you're doing is working and is fine, and it will get you someplace, surely, but it may not get you to really to your goals that you have for your business. It may not get you there at all. It may not get you there as quickly as possible. So having a marketing plan so that you can get some clear direction as to what are the specific things you're trying to accomplish at your business and what are the most effective and efficient ways of getting there is really, really critical. It also reminds me of another one of my favorite quotes when it comes to business. Hope is not a strategy. And hope is not a strategy for business, right? We need to be thoughtful about what exactly are we trying to accomplish and what is the best use of our resources to accomplish those goals as efficiently and effectively as possible. So hope is not a strategy, and with the marketing plan that you're going to learn to create today, we're going to give you a better plan of attack than just hoping that your business grows. All right, so who uses a marketing plan? Well, every successful business that you can think of uses a marketing plan. Certainly any major corporation, the marketing planning process is a very serious, committed process that the top executives in the company are invested in, and something that an awful lot of money and resources goes towards. And you would be shocked to run into any sort of major corporation and hear that they didn't have a thought through marketing plan, right? And yet, many of us are operating our businesses without any thought through marketing plan. So our objective is to hold ourselves to the same standard that we would expect any major corporation, any big successful company, in terms of planning how we're going to achieve our growth goals and the specific marketing plan of attack that's going to get there. So really any business that is successful has a marketing plan, whether that's Walmart, Apple, BMW, or Bob's Burger Shack. The best businesses, big or small, take advantage of a marketing plan to direct their resources, to focus their energies to accomplish their growth goals. So it bears a question: what's the opposite of a plan, right? I mean, if you are operating without a plan, well, there's nothing good there. That's where you get aimlessness, idleness, confusion, inertia, right? And these may be some things that you've experienced at your business where you feel kind of stuck in the mud, or you don't know what things you should be doing to grow your business. Maybe one day you hear about SEO, the next day social media, the next day direct mail, and you're kind of scrambling around inside your head wondering, well, which of those things should I be doing? Should I be doing all of them? Which ones should I do first? Those are all the types of things that are answered by having a thoughtful marketing planning process. So I really want to stress to everybody, as a small business person myself, just like you, that this is not just some academic exercise. This is not something that we want you spending time putting words down on paper only to then take that paper and hide it away someplace and never actually review it or look at it again. That's not the point here. The point is to put together a very actionable plan that you will be working daily to move your business forward. And the payoffs when you do that effectively are absolutely huge at any business. One, you get a clear understanding of how to maximize profit, right? For the first time, when you create a marketing plan, you can see, hey, these are the activities that we do that work for us, that generate revenue, that generate our best customers and profits. So here's what those activities are. Here's how we can do more of them. Here's how we can maximize them, right? Also helps you keep sight of the big picture, right? Where is your business heading? How is it getting there? How quickly is it going to get there? Maybe one of the most important things in my mind is that it facilitates measurement. Okay, at just about every business, we're doing some sort of marketing activity throughout the year, right? But without the measurement, we don't know if that marketing activity is truly being effective for us, and if we're getting a positive ROI on the time and energy and money that we are investing into that marketing activity. So without doing that measurement, without being able to step back and take a look at, okay, here are the marketing activities that I did over the last month, here's the ROI that I got from it, we really are putting ourselves in a position to just waste time and waste money, which none of us want to do that. And then the last point here, gets your team on the same page. Absolutely huge benefit. Anytime you talk to employees at a company and you ask them what their biggest frustrations are, it's always lack of communication, not feeling like they're on the same page, feeling like things are happening at the company that they don't have any input or control over. Having them involved in this marketing process, or at the very least communicating to them, hey, here's the plan that we came up with, just so you're aware of what we're doing to try and grow the business, can have a really, really big impact on the morale of your team and the clarity that your team feels in coming to work every day. So, the planning process, I like, nice and simple, just kind of diagrammed over here to the right. Plan, step one in the upper left quadrant there. Do, check or measure, and then act based on what you learned to put that back into a planning process and keep that cycle going. It's as simple as that. It's simple, but it's very effective. Okay, so payoffs of having a good marketing plan are absolutely huge, both in the potential to actually accomplish your goals, grow your revenue and profitability, but also in some of the softer stuff in terms of having your team engaged and making them feel like they're really a part of a growing and successful opportunity. Okay, Act 2, how to create a marketing plan step by step. And as I said, it's really not that hard. We're going to take you through the specific steps that we recommend. Okay, so step number one is simply just to brainstorm. Step back and think about your business and get ideas flowing. Okay? And for any of you who have ever been through a brainstorming process, you know that the idea is not to evaluate these ideas as you're coming up with them. Okay? You want to leave evaluation for later. So right now what you want to do is just get as many ideas out as you can, because you know what, you never know, some of those ideas that you initially may think they're not practical or they're silly or ineffective, sometimes those turn into your biggest and best ideas. So in brainstorming, just let it flow. And there's a handful of things that I want you to think through specifically. How did the last year go? Okay, how did the last year go? What seemed to work and what didn't work? Okay, what is currently working for you? What is not currently working for you? Okay, just by stepping back and thinking through those things and taking the time to get clear on those can give you some real insights about your business and where you should be directing your time and energy going forward. Okay? And then at every business, for everybody that I talk to, all of our clients that we talk to, and advising them on developing their marketing strategies, I always find that every business owner and every team out there has some big idea that they would love to execute on at their business that they've had backburnered for some time. right? It's either, they just don't feel like they have the time, the energy, the resources, whatever it is, to pull it off. But they've got some big idea out there, something that could potentially be game changing for their business. Well, this is the time to get that out on paper. Let those ideas flow. And again, don't judge them, don't evaluate them, just let them happen, okay? So that's step one, is just simply brainstorming, thinking through the ideas that you can use to possibly move your business forward to a new level. Step number two is to know your customer. Okay? You've got to identify your target customer and make sure you understand that target customer as clearly as possible. Okay? Why is this so important? Well, as small businesses, we don't have endless amounts of money to spend on marketing, right? We all live within some sort of budget constraint, all right? So we have to make sure that our messaging that we're putting out into the marketplace is directed at exactly the right person, and that we really, really understand the needs and challenges of that person so that we can make sure that our marketing message really hits the spot with them. Okay? So this is a great opportunity to step back and really make sure you understand your customer, their needs, their wants, their challenges, who they are, where they live, what they're all about, right? And validate some of those assumptions that you may have in your head already about those customers. Because we all operate with some sort of assumptions about who they are and what they want. But I tell you what, I've yet to be, I have been surprised every single time that I've gone out and talked to customers in person or surveyed them and gotten information at what I learned. There's always some assumption that I had that was either wrong, or some new insight that I got from the process. So you want to learn about them in terms of their demographic information, right? Are they male, female? Are they older, younger? Do they, have careers or not? Are they still in school? All those types of things you want to learn about your customers. And then psychographic information is the information that's really inside the head of that customer, right? What do they think? What do they feel? What do they like? What do they dislike? Okay, and that's where you get the real juice of really understanding what that customer is all about. Okay? So continuing on with knowing about your customer, I also want you to find out where they hang out. Okay, and what I mean by hang out is, where do they currently spend their time? That could be spend their time as in like learning new information. What magazines do they read? What blogs? What social media sites do they frequent? Right? Where are they likely to already find information about your types of products and services? Okay? And the point of really understanding this is, again, we have those limited marketing dollars. We have real constraints that we have to deal with. So we want to target people where they already are. We don't want to have to try and move them to a new place, because that's expensive, that's time consuming. So we want to find out where they're at and meet them there with our marketing message. All right? And I call these channels. Channels are places where your audience already exists and already spends time so that you can meet them there. If your audience reads People Magazine, well then let's advertise to them in People Magazine. Okay? If they visit the local sports blog, then let's advertise to them there. Okay, let's find out where they are and make sure we're meeting them where they already are. Okay, it's the easiest way to get your message in front of your customers. All right, again, on knowing your customers, survey your customers. Okay, get some information out there. So if you already have existing customers, I'm assuming most of you do, although some of you may be in pure startup mode, but the ones of you who have existing customers, get a survey out to them. Okay? Ask them questions, give them the opportunity to respond to you, and learn from their responses. Why did they buy from you? What do they think of your products, your services, your brand? Do they also buy from your competition? Why? What is it that they're buying from them? Why aren't they spending all of their dollars with you? Right? And how likely are they to recommend you to other people? You can get just tremendously valuable information from surveys like this. I think it's a great starting point for getting good details from your actual customers, and then after you've received these surveys back at a high level, there may be a number of people that you say, hey, I saw this feedback on your survey. I'd really love to get a conversation with you directly to make sure I understand it. And you can get some really, really deep insights as to what those customers are thinking, what they're looking for, what they like about your brand, what they don't, why they chose you over the competition, or why they chose the competition over you. Okay, that homework on a regular basis can be incredibly valuable for you. All right, step number 3 then is to study your overall market. Okay, we just got done studying our customers. Now what we want to do is study our overall market. Okay, make sure that we understand the major factors in the overall market that may impact our business going into the next year. Okay, what is the overall size of the market? Is it growing? Is it shrinking? Okay, what are the sales and distribution channels that are already there? How does sales and distribution work in this industry? What are the most effective and fastest growing companies doing in their sales and marketing that maybe are different from you? Okay? What is the geographic area of the market? Who are the major competitors? Are they old, stodgy competitors? Are they new, innovative competitors? Somewhere in between, all of the above, right? And then also just major trends to be aware of in the industry. Are there any significant innovations that are happening? Are there any just major shifts that are happening that could impact your business? So really, really important to study that big picture before you create your plan, because you want to know how you're going to fit into those big picture trends. Okay? Step number 4 is then to study your competition. Okay? If you're in business, you want to know all about your competition. I mean, I think about business very much like a sport, right? And I'm playing against these other teams. Well, if I was playing against another football team, you can be sure that before I played them, I would scout out that football team. I would know who their best players are, who their weakest players are. I would know the plays that they run, right? I would know what they do in fourth down and short situations and fourth down and long situations. And I know what they do in fourth down and goal situations. Okay? So you want to take the same approach to your competition. You want to know what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. Okay? If you are in an industry where there are public companies, one of the best ways that you can do this is get their annual reports, get their financial reports that they have to publish as a public company and study those. Get your competitors' product and service catalogs so that you can go through them and really understand, what are their products and services, how do they sell them, how do they market them, what are their price points, and learn where are they strong and where are they vulnerable. Okay? Because obviously in our marketing plan, we want to do our best to, use our strengths and attack our competitors' vulnerabilities. Okay? So spend time, list out all those major competitors and, study them to make sure you have an understanding of them and an understanding of where the opportunities are to maybe capitalize on their weaknesses. And maybe, find some areas that you're weak in that you need to shore up to make sure that you're not, getting capitalized on by them. Okay? So step 5 then is to do that SWOT analysis. Okay? And that's what, understanding your own weaknesses is all about. So SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's just a nice, simple model for taking all this information that you've just researched and stepping back and looking at your own business and saying, okay, based on everything I just found out from studying our market, studying our customers, studying our competitors, right? Now let's take all that information and try and organize it according to these 4 categories: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And when you're done with this exercise, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the 3 biggest opportunities you have to take your business to the next level. Okay, that's where you should focus your time. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't also focus on fixing some of your weaknesses. There may be a critical weakness at your business, a critical weakness in your product line or in your brand that needs to be addressed. And so that may turn into one of your biggest opportunities, right? It may be one of your biggest opportunities to shore up that weakness, and that will help you grow. But at the end of this exercise, that's what I want you to do. I want you to frame everything into the three biggest opportunities you have to take your business to the next level, because that's where it gets exciting. That's where we turn all of this into a really positive, engaging exercise where we can now set very clear, specific goals based on those opportunities to try and take our business to a new level. All right? And that's step 6. Set clear goals. Okay? And you've probably all heard of SMART goal setting. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And it's such a great, simple framework for making sure that you're setting effective goals. Okay? And goal setting, personally, and at our business, is one of the most important things that we can take the time to do, to make sure that we have clear direction and clear goals that is driving our company and driving our employees, right, to their highest performance. So, again, SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So, one of the ways that I like to encourage people to think about their goals is to set what I call realistic stretch goals. Realistic stretch goals. What do I mean by that? Well, I want the goal to be realistic. Okay, if it's too far out there and you don't actually believe that you can achieve it, then the whole time on the way to trying to achieve it, you're kind of sabotaging yourself, right? You're not really going after it with your full energy because you don't believe it's actually possible. And that's the A in SMART goal setting: attainable, right? You want something that's actually attainable. At the same time, I don't want you to settle for goals that are just layups, okay? I want you to stretch yourself. I want you to be on the furthest edge of those realistic and attainable goals so that you're really trying to push your company to a new level, all right? So that's a realistic stretch goal. I suggest that you start with revenue. If you're $1 million business now, what would you like to be 12 months from now? Okay? Revenue tends to be the first number that we look at the business. Is it going up? Is it going down? When was the last time it grew? How much is it going to grow by? Okay? Now, ultimately, profitability is the name of the game, right? It's not what you bring in, it's what you take home. However, starting with revenue, oftentimes that's the driver of that profitability. So I suggest you start with revenue. And again, think about it for a year out. If we're at $1 million today, where would we like to be 1 year from now? Maybe it's 1.3 million, maybe it's 1.5 million, maybe it's much bigger depending on the opportunity that you have in front of you. And then develop quarterly milestones and start working your way backwards from that ultimate number. So let's say it's 1.5 million a year from now, and I'm 1 million now. So maybe I want to be at 1.4 million by the start of the fourth quarter, 1.3 million by the start of the second quarter, or the third quarter, excuse me, 1 million by the start of the second quarter. So that gives you some specific milestones to work towards to say, okay, now we know specific objectives. We know this quarter we need to add $100,000 in run rate to our business. Okay? And then the next step is to develop that roadmap to get there. How are you going to do it? And there tends to be a handful of ways, right? Introducing new products, maybe raising your prices, maybe entering new territories. Could be cross-selling to existing customers, upselling to existing customers. It could be just doing more advertisement, right? So there's all kinds of things that you could do. Your job is to say, okay, based on this goal that I have in front of me and the milestones that I have along the way, what is the most realistic way for me to backtrack to get there? Okay? And the final step there is to assess the impact, the ability to execute, and the budget of those ideas that you come up with. Okay? Because not all ideas are equal. Not all of them are going to be the same amount of effort to execute. Not all of them are going to take the same amount of investment to pull off. And not all of them will have the same impact. So you've got to sit down and look through those ideas and say, okay, out of all of these, based on our impact, based on the ability to execute, and based on the budget, which ones do we feel best about? All right? So set those clear goals to drive your business forward. All right. Continuing with the goal setting, you then want to determine your measures of success. Okay, as I mentioned before, maybe one of the most important things about having a thoughtful marketing plan and marketing system in place is your ability to then step back and measure the progress that you're actually making. So let's put those measures in place. It may be just a revenue number, but there are also other measures that you can put in place that will tell you, am I going to be on track to hit that revenue? It could be the number of new leads that you generate. Okay, it could be the number of new first-time customers you get versus returning customers, or it could be the number of returning customers that you get versus first-time customers. Whatever it is for your business, you need to sit back and think about, okay, what are the measures of success? And I want you to have measures that you can get data on a weekly basis. Okay? Because if you're waiting for a month or even months to get that data and be able to track your progress or lack of progress, then pretty soon what you're going to find is that a whole quarter has gone by and you haven't had a chance to actually make any adjustments. We want to give you, again, this is not an academic exercise. We want to give you the ability to make adjustments as you go. So come up with a weekly number that you can measure and make changes based upon the results that you're getting. And then allocate your budget across your objectives, okay? If you decide you're going to do 3 different things, you've got to determine how you're going to feed those 3 things. Is it equally? Is it that one thing is going to get a much greater budget than the others, right? So you just got to think through exactly how you're going to put your dollars to use across those objectives, and be really honest with yourself about, hey, do I have more objectives than I do dollars, right? Because if you have too many objectives and not enough dollars, you may be crossing into that unrealistic territory again. Okay? And then I suggest that you sit down and do a good full quarterly performance evaluation at our business. This ends up being a full day meeting with myself and other team members, where for that full day we'll sit down and we'll go, okay, let's look at everything we said we were going to do for the quarter. How has it worked out? What things did we do well at? What things did we do not so well at? And what adjustments do we need to make based on our learning going to this next quarter to make sure that this next quarter is as successful as possible? Okay? So you've got to slow down long enough to take a look at how you've been doing and learn from it and make adjustments, and I suggest that that should be done on a quarterly basis. All right, so that's goal setting. Next, step number 7 is to schedule and execute your plan. Okay, you've got to come up with all the great research, all the great ideas. Now it's time to execute your plan, and there's nothing more important to making sure that this gets done than a good old calendar. Okay, putting specific dates on your calendar for when you are going to get something done is still the most powerful way of making sure that you're actually moving forward with your plan and executing it. Okay? So what we do is the following. We take our major objectives for the entire year and we put them on the calendar. So again, this may be quarterly, it may be monthly, it could be a revenue number, whatever it is. But if I say, hey, by the end of October, I want to have revenues to 1.4 million, then I'll put that big, October 31st, 1.4 million, and I'll put that on my calendar so that it's staring at me when we're looking at October. Okay? Then take the next quarter the next quarter, the next 3 months, and put a very detailed plan on your calendar. So again, at our company, literally every day we have the marketing activity detailed out. Okay. Let's say that we're doing a campaign to get new customers, and that involves doing a webinar like this and a series of emails before it and a series of emails after it. We will have those emails blocked out day for day on the calendar, the date that the actual webinar is happening, and the date for all of the follow-up emails. So that way, it's very easy for me to look at the calendar before the week starts and goes, okay, do I have everything ready to go according to the detailed plan that I've put in place? So we'll do that for the entire quarter at that detailed day-by-day level. And then for the following quarter, we'll put a high-level outline in place. Okay, we won't get down to the detailed day-by-day level because we're more than likely going to make some adjustments for that quarter based on what we learned in this quarter. But we will put at least the high-level outline in place so we have the big picture and we know what we need to start doing to prepare for our next quarter's marketing activities. Okay? Incredibly helpful in making sure that you're actually driving these marketing activities and this marketing plan forward every single day. Now, the last point on this is keep it very, very visible. Okay? Keep it visible. You want this calendar hanging up in the office where you see it every day, where your team sees it every day, where anybody that is responsible can see it. And I say hanging in your office. In our case, we actually use, an online calendar that everybody has access to. Everybody on the marketing team has access to, so that they can see everything planned out in that online calendar, and we can all make changes and collaborate with it online. And I think that that's a great way to do it. However, we still also use good old whiteboards and printed sheets of paper with the immediate activities. So at the beginning of the week, your marketing team or anybody that's participating in your marketing activities can have a printout that says, hey, here's exactly what's happening this week to make sure that everybody's really on track. Okay? So a combination of kind of some good old-fashioned paper and whiteboard techniques and also using those online calendars has been very effective for us. Okay, next, create a 6-week daily action plan and assign it. Okay? So some of you may be working on your own. That's fine. You're assigning all these activities to you. Some of you may have a team of people. Others may be working with some sort of outside marketing agency or consultant to help you. That's fine. But take that quarterly plan, okay? Break it down into the first 6 weeks and the last 6 weeks, and then identify specific actions and specific owners based on that plan that you have on the calendar. And then associate on the calendar the names of those owners with each of those specific activities that you have on the calendar, so it's very public and very visible. Hey, this person is responsible for this part of this marketing campaign on this date. It makes it very, very clear and much easier to hold people accountable. Okay? So that's how you schedule it and execute it. All right? Put that plan into action. So that's the end of Act 2. That's how to put your marketing plan into place. I hope that everybody can see maybe some clear differences between the way they're operating now and the way that you could be operating with a nice, clear marketing plan that's really scheduled and calendared out. And I'm telling you that, man, when you get to that level of detail and you get those goals clear for everybody and you get those assignments clear for everybody on a day-by-day basis, magic happens. Your business almost can't help but grow when you are consciously pursuing a clear direction like that with your marketing plan. Okay? So let's talk about Act 3, some best practices, worst practices, and other important things to consider. Okay? So best practices, again, this comes from helping lots and lots of clients create marketing plans and strategies. 1, have fun and think big. Okay? It's important that during this planning process that you try to release any of the weight or stress of what has previously happened in your business. Okay? Sometimes, unfortunately, we carry forward the past and we let that impact our future. You want to try and let go of that stuff. Let go of anything that's bothering you about the business. Just try and have fun and think big. Let those creative juices go. Okay? Now, battle small budget with boldness and creativity. As I've said several times in this presentation, we all have financial constraints that we have to deal with. It's reality. But as a smaller business, we also have the ability to be nimble and to be bold and be creative beyond what sometimes those bigger competitors and public companies can do. So, Seth Godin wrote a book called The Purple Cow, which is where Purple Cow is all about making your cow stand out, right? All the other cows are black and white, but your cow is purple. And that's what he talks about in his marketing approach is that, hey, you want to have a purple cow business. You want to have a business that stands out from the crowd by being bold and unique. And that's what I would challenge you to do, okay? Have some fun with it. Try and think outside of the lines. Try and think outside of the box and really come up with something special for your business. Next, involve your team. The best ideas, the best alignment, and the best commitment come from having your team involved in this process from the very beginning. Okay? Then they feel part of it. They take ownership in making it happen. And again, that's where the real magic happens. And then finally, focus on the big few. And what I mean by that is you're going to come up with all kinds of ideas. Okay? Again, we're resource constrained. We can't possibly pursue all of them. So what you've got to do is you've got to pick those few that have the real potential to move the needle for your business and focus on those. Okay? So those are some of the best practices I've learned in creating marketing plans. Let's talk about some worst practices. Worst practice number one, this is the killer. It's a killer for you and for the morale of your team, is if this plan just becomes an academic exercise. Okay? If you all go through this planning process, you spend all this time doing it, and then you don't actually put it on the calendar and execute it, then people will learn, oh, okay, we talk about big things, but we don't actually do them. Okay? And that's not the way that you want to run your business, not for yourself or for your team. So don't let this become an academic exercise. Once you're done with the plan, put that plan into action and be 100% committed to that. Second worst practice is creating and operating in a vacuum, okay, not involving your team. Again, your team has some of the best ideas. They're the people that are really hands-on, feet on the street, in the business every day. You need to learn from them, and you need to engage them so they are bought into the process and feel that sense of ownership. All right, next, failure to measure. Failure to measure. The last thing that we want to do is spend our time and energy on something and not actually know what kind of results we're getting. So make sure that you have those measurements in place so that you can see, hey, which things are working, which things aren't working, and put your energies into the right things. All right? And then failure to adjust. Once you've learned from those measures and learned from those previous activities, you've got to make adjustments along the way. Okay, there's no sense in continuing to pound your head against a wall with some sort of marketing strategy or activities that are not working and that are not getting you the results that you want. So learn from it. Do those quarterly reviews that I talked about. Take a look at your weekly measures and adjust on the fly based on the information that you get. All right, finally, some additional things to consider as you leave this presentation and go and create your awesome marketing plan and execute it. First is just that marketing is the most important thing to grow your business. Okay, and I think a lot of smaller businesses just don't really get this. The far majority of your time, in my opinion, should be focused on how you're going to market your business effectively. Marketing is what drives the revenue at your business. It's what creates your unique identity in the marketplace, and it really deserves most likely, much more time and attention than it's currently getting from you. So knowing that, really try and carve out that time to spend on marketing. I know you're very busy taking care of your customers or your patients, depending on the business that you're in, but you've got to make time to really invest in your marketing strategy. All right. Next is fail to plan equals plan to fail. If you come out of here and you don't execute on a marketing plan, if you don't go through that process, then really you are investing in that hope as a strategy. So that's a recipe for failure. We want to see you do much better and grow much faster than that. So take the time to plan. Be specific and action oriented. Okay, turn these big ideas that you have into very specific plans and take action, make forward movement on them every day. And again, act, observe, adjust, act again, right? Act, observe, adjust, act again, right? It's a cycle that just keeps on going. And I'll leave you with this quote from Ben Franklin, one of the most amazing business people and entrepreneurs of all time. And he says, energy and persistence conquers all things. And, I tend to think that Ben was right on there. And the reason why I leave you with that quote in particular is because, for those of you who have never done a marketing plan and you're sitting there looking at your own calendar and thinking, geez, I don't have time for this, please get energized, be persistent, and move this forward. The first time that you go through the exercise, you're going to find it's a little bit longer than you want it to take. It's a little bit more painful than it should be. But I promise you it gets easier and you will get efficient with it over time. And eventually you will have a whole lot of fun doing this because you are literally predicting the future of your business as you do it. It's a great time. Okay? So thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the questions that came in here. And before I do that, I just want to say, this is what we do for businesses. We help them with planning and executing marketing strategies to grow their business. And, if after watching this presentation you're thinking, man, we could use some help in some areas of our business, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to just have the opportunity to connect in person and see if it makes any sort of sense for us to work together. Okay? So our contact information is all around this presentation here, so you can see how to get in touch. And again, if you think that there's an opportunity that we might be able to help you, we'd love to hear from you. All right, let me go ahead and grab a drink of water real quick, and then I'm going to answer a handful of questions here. Okay, let's go ahead through here. I got a handful. I got some good ones here that really good questions. So Susan says she works at a dental practice, and the owner of the dental practice, she says, does not really consider that they should be marketing for patients. That dentistry is a profession, not a business, and that marketing, it sounds like, maybe is a little bit beneath the dentist that owns the practice. So I definitely understand that, and I know that can be frustrating because you're thinking, wow, there's some things that we should be doing to grow this business. So Susan wants to know, what's the best way to convince them that doing a marketing plan like this is an important part of their business. Well, so I think that the best way is to probably just to show some examples of other dentist practices that are using marketing very effectively to grow their business, and just giving that dentist an indication of the additional money that they could be making and the fun that they could be having by having more patients and higher value patients at the practice. So the good news is I've done some work in that field. I do know that there's some pretty good information and case studies out there about dentists who have really, really, really ramped up the profitability and the growth of their practice by doing effective marketing. So I would suggest that you go out and find a little bit of information like that to share that might open the eyes of that owner and give them some new ideas. But that can be a tough one, I understand, and I wish you good luck with that. So let's see here. Robert says that we have invested in SEO in the past and not seen any good returns from it. And so we've kind of been turned off by doing any online marketing strategies. What are your thoughts on how we can evaluate if online marketing will actually work for our business and the best way to get results from it? So that's a good question, Robert. A lot of businesses that I talk to have tried SEO and had bad luck. There's a number of reasons for that, right? One is there have unfortunately been a lot of a lot of SEO practitioners out there that have been out selling services, even though they haven't really been delivering great services. So there's been a lot of businesses I've talked to that felt like they've just been outright scammed by somebody that they worked with to do SEO for them, which has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, which is unfortunate because SEO can be very, very, very effective for just about any business. One of the most important things about it, though, is it does take a longer term commitment. Okay, it's not something that you just turn on this incredibly high Google ranking overnight. It does take a commitment. That's the other reason that I've seen small businesses have less success than they like with SEO, is that they tend to do it for a month or two and then give up when they haven't seen an immediate jump in their search engine rankings. So I think what's important for you is that you step back and assess, why it did not work. What were the things that you tried? How consistent were you in terms of the execution? Those types of things, because you may be ruling out SEO when there's no good reason to. And we can certainly help you with that assessment if you'd like. In terms of making online marketing effective at your business, I got to tell you, I have yet to run across a business that could not be taking good advantage of online marketing in some sort or another, whether that's SEO or doing paid media or doing social media. There's all kinds of things that you could be doing. I have not found a business that does not benefit from online marketing yet. So I would say, for all of you attending this, should online marketing be a part of your marketing plan? Absolutely. There is no question to me that it should be. Now, what specifically should be a part of your marketing plan? Is it SEO, pay-per-click, social media, reputation marketing, SMS, email? That's a great question that needs to be answered for each of your businesses individually. Okay, every business is different, and the things that you should take advantage of will be different. Okay? Let's see here. So James asked an interesting question here. He says, out of all of the things that you've seen put to use at small businesses in terms of marketing to grow their business, what do you think is the starting point that is most effective for all of us to consider? So that's a great question, and I partially answered it by the answer I just gave regarding the SEO, right? In that every business is different, and so you've got to look at the unique factors of your industry, the unique factors of your particular situation, right? To determine what is the first and best thing that will work for your business. That being said, I do think so. We follow a methodology of determining what is the best fit for our clients. So it's not just a scattered approach to coming up with an idea. It's a methodology that we follow. And at the base level of that methodology is reputation. Okay. If you don't have a good reputation online, and nowadays consumers can very easily look up your business and see negative reviews about your company. If that's out there, if your business has a bad reputation online and the whole public can see that, that's a real choke point on any other. It's a real choke point that essentially is starving the benefits of any other type of marketing activity that we do. Okay, if we go spend a bunch of money on advertising, the advertising could be really, really effective right up until the point where the person who sees the ad goes, let me learn more about this business, and pulls you up online and sees a bunch of negative reviews. Okay, so there is a kind of hierarchy of going through this methodology to determining what's right for you. At the base of that is reputation, because if you have a poor reputation, we definitely want to address that and fix that so that the rest of the marketing activities can be effective. Okay? And that really is, all of that is a part of that planning process, and sitting down and assessing your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, and saying, okay, where do we need to get better, and where do we have big opportunities to really improve? Okay, so great questions. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up so I can let you guys get back to work, but I really do appreciate your time and your good questions and your attention here. And like I said, certainly if there's anything that we can do to help you in this process, we'd love to connect with you and see if there's a good fit. All right, take care. Have a great day.